You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Champion Cinema, or as it's all Italian this week, welcome to Cinema Campione.
Oh, nice. I like it.
I learned Italian for this. Just that. That's all I learned.
I was going to say, just for the show, you're going to do portions in Italian now.
Just going to do the entire show in Italian. I'm Chris with a Claudio C.
And I'm Chris with a Kowalski K.
Yes, we have two movies this week. Some Italian trash. I was thinking, apart from like the cannibal movies, we've never really went down the road of like the trashy Italian movies, like the B, C level stuff.
No.
So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
A double bill of Bruno Mattei and I guess Claudio Fograsso, because he wrote them both. Silly sod.
Wrote.
Well, he watched the movie. He wrote, took some notes and went, put that there and that there. There you go. There's my script.
Pretty much.
So yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of like I was going to be like kind of not mean, but anyone that's seen like knows of Bruno Mattei knows that these movies aren't very good.
No.
I was going to say, like, if you had like an Italian like exploitation horror tier list, you'd have like in A you'd have like Argento, Bava, Fulci. Mm-hmm. B, you'd have like Ruggero Deodato, like Sergio Martino. In F, you'd have Bruno Mattei.
All the way down the list.
All the way down there. Not quite at the bottom. So yeah, I guess there's nothing to get to. We're going to do Robowar and Shocking Dark, a.k.a. Predator and Aliens.
Basically. Predator, Aliens, Robocop, Terminator.
Yeah, it's all the movies that were popular from about 86 to 88.
Crammed into one.
Champion Cinema.
So I guess we'll start with Robowar. Came out in 1988, runs for 1 hour and 32 minutes, or about 2 hours 45.
That's what it fucking feels like.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Directed by Bruno Mattei, a.k.a. Vincent Don, one of his more favoured aliases, and written by, like I said, Claudio Fograsso, who is most well-known today for being the guy who directed Troll 2. It stars Reb Brown as Murphy Black, Catherine Hickland as Virginia, or I was like, every time when I was looking for the cast list, everywhere lists her as Virgin.
Yeah, well, she appears in the credits at the end as Virgin.
I guess that's why, but in the movie, she's just blatantly calling her Virginia.
Yeah, weird.
One of my favourite Italian names, I've seen him in a couple of movies, Romano Poppo as Corey, Max Laurel as Quang, Massimo Vanni as Larry Garino, yeah, Jim Gaines as Blood, John P. Delaney as Papa Doc, Mel Davidson as Masha, and Claudio Fograsso himself as Omega One, the big bad guy, though from now on I'll just be referring to him as Robowar.
Yes, very apt.
So what is Robowar all about?
Well, a group of mercenaries are dropped into a very dense jungle to undergo a top secret mission. Only things start going awry when they're one by one picked off by a mysterious, hostile creature. Obviously that's the plot of the Predator movie. This is kind of like that, but a lot shitter.
Well, you knew that going in. I didn't try missell this as it's like a really cool version of Predator.
It's like they took Predator, but they just got smarter with it, you know.
they messed with conventions and flipped it on its head.
Yeah, the Predator's the good guy, and the soldiers are the bad guys. In this movie. That's what they should have done.
But I guess to start, we don't go through movies sequentially anymore. But I kind of feel like we need to start at the beginning because
there's a lot.
This is the first bit of the movie right at the start. Where I was like, what? First there's the credits that are incomprehensible and just a mess because it's they've got the Predator vision, which you can't tell what the fuck it's supposed to be.
Let's say they've overdone it, haven't they?
Yeah, they've very much overdone it.
I will say, I kind of liked the vibe. I liked the music, and I liked some of it, but the computerized voice is fucking awful.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Just, persists throughout the entire movie.
The way I had to, I was like, I need to come up with a way to actually get across what it sounds like to someone who hadn't seen the movie, and the best way I could come up with, like, it sounds like a speak and spell boomhauer.
Yeah.
He just wanders around talking shit, basically the whole time.
Just going like, target acquired, fucking asset, proceed, precede. Like,
I'm glad. I could pick out one word every 10 minutes, pretty much. There was one time where I couldn't decide if it was saying green peace or green beans. I didn't.
I think it's supposed to be saying proceed,
Okay.
but because it's shitty like voice stuff, it's like saying precede. It very much reminds me of a thing that I had for the Commodore 64. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same piece of software.
It probably is. It does sound like something from back then that you would get on like a really early text to speech program.
Because like I used to hate it because you couldn't slow it down, so it would just say everything like 100 miles an hour, and everything just sounded like that. Basically, just be like blip, 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 blip.
I'm like, sure at one point as well it made like the Buck Rogers noise. I'm sure it just walked past the camera and went biddly biddly.
It just ripped that off as well.
Yeah. So yeah, once we get past that of like this high tech, you find out it's this high tech military robots escaped and gone haywire basically.
Yeah, because they don't quite stick to the Predator thing. It's not an alien entity. It's essentially like a piece of military tech. It's RoboCop basically.
Yeah, but by the end you're like, oh, it's RoboCop.
Yeah, it's somebody that's been experimented on and turned into an ultimate killing machine, and it's gone haywire in a jungle. And I don't know, are they there to lambs to the slaughter? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know. Is that part of the test to see if, or is he there to retrieve it?
I think he's there to retrieve it / destroy it, but he doesn't want to because it's like his little project and stuff, I guess. But yeah, so after that we'll get like a little slideshow introducing us to our team of mercenaries basically, and then the guy who will become one of them, Masha, says, why do they all have nicknames? And then he says, well, you should hear their group name. Bam. Big ass motherfuckers. And I'm like, well, they don't seem like especially thick lads. All that ridey, why not badass motherfuckers? It's the same acronym and it doesn't sound as stupid.
Yeah, badass motherfuckers would have been much
Why big ass motherfuckers?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Like poor grasp on the English language?
Maybe.
Quite possibly.
Because I forgot that like when we were like just we're saying like, oh, I wonder if it was like dubbed Italian subtitles, all that. But I forgot, like, a lot of these was just shot in sync sound in English.
Yeah, funnily enough, because, the first version I got of this was just in Italian, and I kind of looked for subtitles and stuff. But, because obviously I didn't watch enough of it to really, like, look at the lip syncing or anything. But then I got a dubbed version of it, or dubbed. Yeah. But, it's clearly filmed in English. Like,
I think most of the time these were kind of made, they weren't made for Italy, they were, like, made for outside markets, I suppose.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, you get this is like, it's like you said, it's not exactly Predator, but like a good chunk of the film is obviously Predator.
Yeah, so that's the driving force of the movie. It's basically Bro Bruno fucking loved the bit where they all shot the guns into the jungle, basically, because that scene happens like 5 times in this movie, where they all just stand in a line and unleash bullets.
And when it actually gets to the point where they do the scene from Predator where they're all shooting the guns, they're like, we've seen it, mate. You've done it like 6 times in the past half an hour.
Just haven't got any sense for making a scene cool.
No.
They just overuse it, like you said, to the point where it's ruined.
What did you think of like the first time you get a proper look at Robowar? Like, he just fucking pops his head out during a montage, and I was like, that it?
He's like Gimp Robot, basically.
Yeah, he's kind of like S&M, like biker guy with like bits of crap stuck on him, basically.
Yeah, it's got like kind of a motorcycle helmet, but I don't think it is. I think it's like an oldie worldy space helmet or something. In a
weird coincidence that we'll get to in the next film with the posters, he looked more like the Wraith.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I tell you what though, that Claudio Fragasso, he's the MVP of this movie. The poor bastard walking around a jungle dressed in leather and rubber. Well,
his choice. He wrote the fucking thing.
I guess. Do you think he would have wrote as fucking smarter? Like, he also had air conditioning on his back, so I don't know. Fucking, he was all white. Because fuck me, I did see in the trivia, apparently, like, he fainted like multiple times during the filming of it. Which
because they shot it in the Philippines, like the Philippine jungle, so it's not exactly going to be cool.
No, like Christ, he must have lost so much weight. Bless him. I think there's a great shot of him towards the end of the movie where he's like walking around like a dried up riverbed, and he just looks totally fucked.
Yeah, it's like his character's supposed to be fucked, but now you've said that, yeah, that's just him being like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, there's no way he's like acting like a damaged robot. You can just see in his gait that he's like, I want to die.
It's just like, if you heard the onset sound at that point, you're just going to like him in Italian going, Bruno, this is it, right? It's the last shot of the day, right? 'Cause I'm about to fucking die.
Poor guy.
But yeah, so you get like obviously they do the Predator thing. There's a girl that gets tagged along with them of the rescue. It's kind of different. Like they don't rescue her in the village scene. She takes them to the village scene, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's some, because Christ, that village stuff doesn't come till about 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
I think it's just them wandering about for like 40 minutes.
There's a lot of walking montages, shall we say, in both movies. Actually.
Well, I was just about to say, yeah, I think that I am willing to bet a lot of Bruno Mattei's films are like that.
Oh yeah, they are.
I could imagine they're just filling space with walking, like from. And you know what, the sad thing about this movie and the other one is there's some elements of this that are really nice. Obviously the locations, like fantastic, like filming it in a real jungle in the Philippines, it looks really good. All the costumes look really good. Like credit to, I did see her name in the credits, but I've not made note of it. But whoever the lady that did the costumes, fucking great. Like they've obviously just secured like a whole bunch of like army surplus stuff, I guess. Yeah. But it all looks really good.
It does look genuine, because there is some of those like cheap shot in the Philippines war movies where like the costumes don't look that great. They look like too new.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. These look like actual mercenary outfits. Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't really use the locations. They just film them going from A to B and then B to A and A to B again. It's like,
it's almost like, I don't know, like he was contractually obliged to hit 90 minutes. You know what I mean? You could cut 10 minutes of walking out of this, and it would be a lot more watchable. You know what I mean? 80 minutes is fine, Bruno. You don't have to hit that 90-minute mark. Fuck me. But look, the village scene, though, like when they get to it, it's kind of the same setup. They just attack a village, and like, because it's like this woman's there, she's like sent up hospitals, and all these other like mercenaries have come in and killed all these people and stuff. And I just don't understand why, like we're saying, I think we said it before we started recording, they're both very shouty. Everyone's shouting all the time. Like for no reason though. Like in this village scene, they're literally running around kicking ass. Like they're obliterating all these like soldiers.
Like under no threat at all.
But they're screaming like their lives are in panic. Like the classic like firing your machine gun, just going, ah! And I'm like, why are you screaming? You're winning.
Basically, because Stallone does that at the end of Rambo. First Blood. So they just like do that.
They just have that stuck in the back of the head. Like, that was a really cool moment. Let's do it 85 fucking times.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. It's like things from the other movies have clearly stuck in like the people that made this movie's heads.
Yeah.
And then they've just like tried to replicate it. There's a prime example when I think it's like the Kwang character. So somebody's like filming the scene and they're thinking, there's some real cool dialogue in Predator where like, he's like, I ain't got time to bleed and all that sort of stuff, where the soldiers have banter whilst they're like killing people. So they've obviously gone, do the banter. But I imagine the actors weren't given lines, or just do banter. So like at one point, Kwang just pretty much just goes, so what are you doing this weekend then? Pretty much. I can't remember the exact line, but he basically just asks them casually, like, he's like, are you watching the football then? But it's like, what the fuck? Like, because they just didn't have any banter, basically.
Let's just imagine Bruno on set. It's like, we need something for this scene. Red, but come here. Do the banter.
And they're like, well, what do you want us to say?
Just a chitty chat. Have a chitty chat.
So literally the first thing that popped into his head was, fucking, what you doing?
He's just like, made a cup of tea.
So yeah, the banter is not as strong as in Predator.
Speaking of banter though, what did you think about this film's version of Stick Around?
What does he say again? Like stand about or something, or don't move. He says
don't move.
And then he winks.
Yeah, the wink really capped it. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So there's some unusual comedy in this movie, isn't there?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like
I mean, it's hard to
sprinkled.
tell sometimes what's supposed to be funny.
True, I suppose. But yeah, I got dashes of comedy throughout this entire movie, definitely.
You know when the character Blood dies, when he gets like, first he gets his foot caught in like a trap.
Yeah, which I wrote in my notes. Did he really get his foot trapped? Because it fucking sounded like it.
I know, he really goes for it, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's like, it's like, fuck. It sounded like he was really in pain. But yeah, the Blood character.
So he gets killed by Robowar. He gets like shot, I guess. At first I thought, I didn't hit him, but no, he died.
Yeah.
And then in the next walking montage, he's just there. They just used the same footage again. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's just continuity errors like all over the shop.
Yeah, at first I thought I was like maybe making a note and he didn't die. And then I was like, wait a minute. And he just never turned up again. I'm like, what the It was like that bit in fucking Loaded Weapon when John Lovitz comes back in. He's like, didn't you die?
Nah, I'm back for the sequel. Because I did notice, obviously, there's footage, heavy footage reuse throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's like when they come across like some of the stripped corpses.
They reuse that like 4 fucking times. Yeah.
There's a particular shot where it's like kind of a wide shot where you see the mountains in the background and there's a bit of a clearing. Mm-hmm. And they use that same shot about 3 times as well. So it's like, God, like, couldn't you have just swung the camera around a few times?
Yeah.
Like, if you're in the jungle and, like, you don't need to reuse the same shot, do you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they do to save money, I guess. Maybe they ran out of film.
Well, there was one bit, like, you know when they do the whole crossing the river thing and, like, the dock gets, like, pulled away?
Yeah.
And then he wakes up by himself and he's running away from Robowar.
Yeah.
There's a shot where it's like a POV, like Evil Dead shot going through the jungle.
Yeah.
And the camera spins around. You can just see some guy in a white T-shirt and shorts just standing there. And I was like, who was that?
They just didn't even try or like, maybe they didn't notice it, I guess. But
I guess, yeah.
Weird.
But I will say, though, speaking of the corpses, the gross corpses are pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
They look really gross. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like, I guess, like Italian zombie sort of vibes.
They just have that really grimy, slimy look to them. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Some of the gore and stuff definitely worked. Like it ticked that box.
Well, that's my main problem with it, right? Like, you know, as well as everything else. Like, it cut 10 minutes out of it, and like it should have been, if it was like stupidly gory and like ridiculously like comedically violent. It would have more to offer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it would have that where it's like, oh, this bit's kind of funny where a guy gets like splattered, but it's like it's really weirdly tame.
Yeah.
You could put this on at like 7 p.m. back in the day and not really have to cut that much out of it.
Yeah, I did see apparently in Germany it received 4 minutes of cuts
Of
or
what?
something.
But then again, Germany back then was fucking really harsh with censorship.
Yeah, so I guess probably the corpses and stuff.
Most likely,
I guess.
yeah, because it's not that bloody. There's like a bit of, you know, like stabbing, throat slitting, but it's all like off camera, like suggested type of stuff.
I mean, there's a bit of animal violence. An eagle gets booted at one point.
I missed that.
It's the first time they come across the corpses, I think.
Oh yeah, right.
But obviously, instead of it being a vulture, it's just like some fucking nice looking eagle that's been rented for the day, and one of the soldiers just boots it like it's a football. It's like, oh Jesus!
I missed that, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, the twist in this movie is they kind of introduced it like halfway through the movie that the main character, played by Red Brown, has like some buddy in Nam that he regrets. Like who got injured and he died.
Yeah.
Turns out that's who is Robowar.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Street Fighter Charlie thing as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Accidentally borrowing from the Street Fighter franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fucking shoehorned in. It didn't need to be out like that. It adds nothing to the movie, really.
Yeah.
And it's clumsy the way it's done.
I'm just guessing like RoboCop like came out the weekend they were writing the script or something because it just seems crammed in there right at the last second.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that would be good. I was just, with you saying Nam, it just made us think, I'll just mention it before I forget, the montage when they're going through all the characters. And they're all like, yeah. But every character's pretty much like, yeah, it's such a buddy. He was in Nam as a such and such. Yeah, this is such a much. He was in Nam. It's like, really, they should have just started the presentation, gone, right, these were all in Nam. All these guys, all of them.
Save you a bit of time. These were all in Nam, by the way.
Just everyone gets to mention that. He was in Nam. It's like, we'll get it. They're all mercenaries from Nam.
Should have called them the Big Nam motherfuckers.
Yeah, basically.
I did love that bit at the end. I think it's just because like it seems like they didn't shoot coverage or it just wasn't shot very well. But like it looks like at the end, because Red Brown spends most of the movie just screaming his head off.
Yeah.
And at the end, it looks like his scream is so powerful it like knocks Robowar off his feet.
He's just got those mutant powers, basically.
Yeah, because I think Robowar's got him by the neck, and he just like screams, and obviously like pushes him or something, but you don't see his arms, so it looks like he just screams him off him. I was like, that's amazing.
Trauma screams him away, and the guy has PTSD. It just comes back
that's
to him.
kind of what it looks like. But yeah, obviously, you know, like both of these movies, Shock and Dark can't do an alien queen or anything at the end, so they go another direction. This, you know, you can't do the battle at night with fucking traps and stuff and a nuclear explosion, so they just have something like kind of the same, but way more low-key.
Well, they'll kind of do it twice. They set up they set up like a little duck blind for themselves, like a little hut made of like kind of camouflage and stuff. And then they also go to like an abandoned town where there's like a hospital, and the Virginia character's like, oh, I'll mix some acid basically to fucking throw in his face. Like, will that work? Acid? Isn't he like a robot or something? Yeah, and then I suppose that scene, the hospital-y bit, that's kind of like the nighttime trap sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I like that they do the big thingy dive though. I suppose that's cool. The waterfall dive.
Yeah, they do that.
That's pretty mad, and it's a mad stunt, like massive drop. So yeah, some of it's like quite well done.
I mean, it was kind of like, in a way, for what this movie is, a little bit heartwarming when he like just walks off. It's kind of weird though, because like he comes back on the beach, looks like he's trying to kill him, but then when he catches up with him, he's like, "No man," blows up.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's like he changed his mind on that haggard walk across the riverbed. Where he's like, "Oh fuck this! What's the fucking knackered?"
I've had enough. Because don't forget, we've seen him walking. To sort of paraphrase the movie, although there's a direct quote, he was stepping right on, mines, referring to mines. He stepped right on them like they were dog shit. Do people deliberately step on dog shit like that? I don't know. But yeah, that's the line from the movie that just tickled us. So yeah, like Robowar can literally walk across mines and it does 0 damage to him. But then like acid in the face and stuff kind of fucks him up, and then he just ultimately blows up. Maybe he did self-destruct, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah.
In the end.
And we even have, you know, the Predator roll call credits at the end where everyone gets their own little title card. I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet.
Again, just proper, it's something that's stuck in the head of the people that made this movie, and they were like, let's do that as well.
I think every movie should have that, to be honest.
I do always love that. You can't beat a good acknowledgement. I don't know I wonder what the proper name is for it, but like where the people are moving and it's like they're kind of smiling at the camera or something. Or I do like that. It's one of my favourite things about Predator, the credits like at the end.
It's kind of like a movie version of a curtain call.
I guess. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm assuming that was a last minute thing for this movie because they didn't have like specially shot shots of them like smiling at the camera and stuff. No. It was just shots in the movie.
Yeah, just reused stuff.
They were in the edit room. They were like, "Oh bollocks!
Get them out in the backyard. We'll do it." Surprised they didn't do that. Yeah, they even do the Billy scene, I guess, don't they, as well? With
Kwang,
where he like stays behind.
That's what I was going to say. Like, there's a few characters that obviously, you know, like the Masher characters, like the Carl Weathers, who like knows more than he lets on, and then you've got Reb, who's obviously Arnie, and then you've got Kwang, who's Billy. The rest of them are kind of interchangeable. Yeah, I can't really pinpoint who Duke or Jesse Ventura characters are. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
And they kind of do that with Shock and Dark as well. Like, you can see who's supposed to be who, but the rest you're like, is that him or is that such and such or what?
Yeah, I'm trying to pick out there was one guy, I can't quite, I'm just looking at the credits, was it Masher or where he just looked like a mini Chuck Norris, basically.
Oh, that's Larry Gray, like Massimo Vanni, like the guy, he's kind of got like a bowl cut and a beard.
Yeah.
And he does. That's what I thought. He looks like Chuck Norris and missing an action.
Yeah, just there's bits where like his hair's a bit wet and he's got the machine gun and stuff, and I was like, fuck me, he probably looks like a mini Chuck. Absolutely. So do you have any highlights from one of? I've pretty much gone over all mine. No, I think that is pretty much it. Although, shout out to Papa Doc being a proper pussy and running away and stuff, acting like a total bitch whenever danger was there.
It's like, maybe he was the one that didn't go to Nam.
Yeah, maybe.
I think out at the start, I don't think they mentioned him ever being like in the army. He's just like a sort of specialist or something.
Because he doesn't strike me as a hardened sort of guy that's seen like action in Nam and stuff. Definitely not. The bit when he's like stuck in the water and then gets washed away, like we said, like that's such a bad scene. Like,
it goes on for far too long.
You know, like when Vince McMahon used to get involved in the ring sometimes, and like he's not physically elegant at all.
No,
that's kind of what that actor was like, basically.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, that Christ, specific highlight scenes.
Yeah, it's hard, really.
Thin pickings, really. Like when it finally ended, and I knew I was safe. I would say generally just the look. I'll certainly credit the movie for having a fantastic look. Like I said, the costumes and stuff really good. Just shame the story wasn't there. And like you said, you really nailed that if they had just kind of gone in hard and heavy, and where Predator's like quite a serious sci-fi sort of action movie, they could have really gone schlocky or super violent or
which was more splattery and schlocky, basically.
Yeah.
I also quite like the in one of the walking montages, some like sub Van Halen type tune that plays over the top, and I was like, it's a pretty good song.
There was times where the music was interesting. Like I said, I quite like the some of the music over the start.
Segue us onto the Blu-ray. You'll have to get yourself the Severin release, which was the limited edition came with the soundtrack on CD.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
And as for the disc itself, good interviews of pretty much all the major cast. Separate interviews.
That's cool.
That'll be interesting. I think one said Catherine Hickland, who plays Virginia, it said Catherine Hickland behind the scenes home movies, so she must have like footage from shooting the movie, which is kind of mental, because you never see behind the scenes footage of movies like this, you know. No one probably thinking of that at the time.
I suppose it was probably just like being on holiday for them, though, if they went to the Philippines and stuff. Hopefully it got put up in a hotel. I
think that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of actors took these jobs, because they're like, get a holiday in the Philippines.
Yeah, definitely. Interestingly though, because I'll never remember to mention this, I watched this movie first, and there's a really nice shot where you see a black and yellow spider on a web, and the camera's focused on the spider in the web, and then it kind of focuses in on the mercenaries in the background, and it's really, I thought, wow, that's really well done. And then I was thumbing through the trivia and noted it was shot in the Philippines. And then after this, I watched Enter the Ninja. And there's a very similar shot where you see like a black and yellow spider, and I straight away went, I'm pretty sure that was the same type of spider that was in Robowar. I wonder if this was also filmed in the Philippines. When I looked, it was. So it was like, that's mental. Just the spider tied these two movies together.
I'm going to blow your mind. It's actually the same spider.
The same spider that was like brought to set.
He's got a SAG card and everything. He's in loads of movies. He's kind of a big deal.
Totally imagine. It's just interesting. You know, like we always have these crazy like connections from movie to movie, and it's like
it's bizarre.
Champion Cinema.
So we're jumping forward a little bit to 1989's Shocking Dark, aka Terminator 2. As released in countries that don't have functioning copyright laws, aka Aliens 2 in some countries as well.
So it did have an alternate as Aliens 2.
Yeah, and I think I saw another. I think Germany had another title as well, didn't it? Again, it just has one of them films basically.
In Japan, it was called Alienators.
Yeah,
which I think is a much better title.
Yeah, definitely. Shocking Dark is like the most generic name.
I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, to be honest with you.
So yeah, it comes in at 1 hour 30 minutes again. So he's obviously hitting that benchmark.
Yep.
Directed by, of course, Bruno. Did we say Mattei or Mattei?
Mattei.
Starring Christopher Ahrens as Fuller, Haven Tyler as Sarah, Greta Marie Giancarlo as Costa. The Arnie guy? No, that's Fuller. I'm getting me people mixed up. Fausto Lombardi as Franzini, Mark Steinborn as Bond, Dominica Coulson as Samantha, and Clive Ritchie as Drake.
You know what though? I wouldn't trust IMDb for this movie because I'm pretty sure all the cast is wrong.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time I do think like, I wonder.
Because like the chick, it's like the Vasquez, like her name's Goretta. And what the thing that's linked is only person listed as Goretta has like one credit to the name, and I know that's not true because she's in Demons. And I was like, what? This is a fucking mess.
So speaking of which, what is this movie all about?
Well, in the year 2000, Venice was absolutely shagged by flooding and pollution. In the future, in a plant run by the evil corporation responsible, I think.
Yeah.
A team of Marines carry out a rescue mission, but there's aliens. There's a little girl needs rescue an android. It's aliens, basically, with Terminator at the end.
Yeah. Lots of mention of the Tubular Corporation.
Yeah.
Tubular bells.
Yeah. But why, like we were saying about titles, why not just call it Alien 3?
Yeah, if you're going to be ripping off stuff like that anyway and be blatant about it, why pivot to Terminator 2 when it's clearly an Aliens rip-off?
When, like, the only time, it's like, it only becomes Terminator for, like, the last 15 minutes. Half an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
And then what surprised me, because apparently I've seen this before, I've got it logged on my letterbox, I barely remember it. But, like, right at the end, they just fling in a fucking time travel twist. I was like, what?
So mental, isn't it? And also, because I think its primary title is Terminator 2, right? I think it was released in Italy as Terminator 2. And they had to come up with Shocking Dark for, like, the UK and America and stuff.
Oh, I don't think to be honest, I'd never got a release in America until the Blu-ray a couple years ago because they were worried, obviously.
Yeah, which they totally should have been.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I wonder if James Cameron's ever sat down and watched this.
And what does he think of it? Yeah.
To be honest, I'd be quite flattered.
Yeah.
Like, just that someone took the time.
Yeah, they, like, loved it clearly so much that they've just redone your stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's done out of love. Done for money, let's be honest. Yeah. Money and laziness. Quick buck. That's what it was done. Yeah, it's funny though. Obviously, you know, they've cast the Ripley because, you know, I guess they thought, you've got a kind of passing resemblance to Sigourney Weaver. But now, in hindsight, she looks more like Anna Gunn from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? Yeah, she has an interesting look about her. I think it's a shame that she didn't do more. I think she does have quite a good look.
She's got a very interesting look, yeah.
Yeah, and like I can see she kind of does the character well. She ticks the right boxes for her being like a Ripley character and stuff.
I think my favourite moment... that's not true, because there's a couple of moments later that were my favourites just because they were funny. When you get the, like, meeting the Marines moment like you do in Aliens, and you've got, like I said, Goretta, who's kind of playing, just to be honest, at least in that opening scene, just playing a mix of Vasquez and Apone. Because she's berating them all, but just the sassy, hard chick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. She's doing both, basically. Is she the only black person?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it's just kind of like doing both things. Yeah, just interesting.
I just loved the, like, when obviously one scene they were going for, and like when you compare it to Aliens, like, you know, the line where Bill Paxton said, "Has anyone ever confused you for a man?" or something like that. I love how basically the version of this movie is a guy in the background saying, "Hey, those are some nice titties you got there."
Yeah, they don't quite manage to replicate what Aliens does at all. I mean, that Goretta, like, the fact that she looks at the camera about 50 times and she's like, "Listen up, you bunch of pussies, I'm back." Like, you're back from where?
Yeah, where you been? Just got back from Aldous.
It's the first time we've seen her. It's so weird. And then she just harasses the other Marines, basically, for like 5 minutes. Yeah. It just comes off as really awful.
In what looks like a sports centre bathroom. Changing room.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I imagine it was probably the changing room for the fucking power station that they were filming.
I'm assuming they just shot it in some power station. Yeah.
It's all in one place, basically. They just rented a decommissioned power station or a water treatment plant, I imagine, and they've just filmed it all in there. I mean, I suppose we should start with the interesting premise of not setting it in space.
No.
I guess that's interesting. So it's set in Venice, and it's set in the future, as was then. It's quite interesting that it's of the time. There's like ecological sort of, you know, like, because they mention like they don't say it directly, but it's like climate change,
pretty
basically, brought about by pollution and stuff. I know Venice is kind of one of them cities that's always under threat. Yeah, you know, from like pollution and tourism. Although tourism's really good for Venice, it's also really bad for it. Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting that they went there. I mean, I don't think it was a stroke of genius. I think they just were lazy and they wanted to film somewhere.
Oh yeah,
in
it's like, saves money. We don't have to build a fucking spaceship or do like shots in space.
Yeah.
But also, I just love how it super localizes it to be very Italian, set right in Venice.
And the fact that the movie opens with basically tourist footage.
It's like a travelogue. Yeah, it's like watching an episode of Wish You Were Here or something.
There's like 80s looking mums and dads sitting down enjoying ice cream
Feeding
and
the
having a beer.
pigeons. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? What is this?
I wonder if that was shot for the movie or not, because there's certain shots at the end when they go back in time. When there's just some woman like mugging at the camera she walks past.
Yeah, like a group of lasses on a night out.
Yeah,
in Venice.
pretty much. Yeah. I'll tell you one character who I loved, the guy who plays the Colonel, like Colonel Parsons. He's kind of like the older guy that's always in the control room getting messages.
Yes.
Fuck me, I kind of just felt bad for him the entire movie. 'Cause every time he's got a line, he kind of stumbles on his line and just keeps going, and they just were like, that's fine.
Like, no one cares.
Yeah, there's just so many moments where he's like, okay, here's what I want you to do. And I'm like, oh, do that again.
Yeah, I was trying to picture it, but yeah, I do remember now. Yeah, he does.
There's
he
at least
stumbles,
2 or 3. He just always looks like he's shit himself whenever the camera's on.
It's like he lied with his CV. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been in tons of movies.
That's the thing that tipped us off that maybe the IMDb page is like kind of messed up, because I was sure I'd seen him in like 1 or 2 other Italian like schlocky movies. But I'm
really?
trying to find I found the name Colonel Parsons. I clicked on it and this said there was only movies in. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm sure I've seen him in a couple of movies. Another like Bruno Mattei movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose maybe it's for movies like this. I should maybe take more notes from the credits rather than IMDb.
I know. Yeah.
So at least it's like, well, as per the credits. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
I mean, I got a distinct impression though, like, just how cheap it is and stuff. When there's just certain, like, no one in this is a good actor. Like they literally try, as if they tried to, they kind of bet like, let's find the worst actors possible for this movie, or like at least the people who will work for the cheapest. Because there was just a point about like half an hour in where like, I don't know what it was someone said or someone did, but I just thought this is like something we would have made when we were 12 if we had money and a crew.
You know what? Ironically, in my notes was one thing I was going to mention, that the vibe I get from this movie is like, when I was a kid, I used to play Aliens when I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And basically what it was just me reenacting what I could remember from Aliens with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, so like the dialogue's kind of not right and stuff.
Yeah. And that's basically the vibe from this movie. It's like they're reenacting Aliens, but from memory.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
It's like they didn't have a VHS of Aliens or a VCR to watch it, so they just, before every scene, they were like, oh, what happened next again?
Pretty much. But like, only Bruno's seen Aliens, so he's relaying to everyone what happened in Aliens, maybe.
But he saw it like 2 years ago when he was drunk, and he only saw it once.
It's just proper. It kind of, it's less Aliens-esque than what Robowar is to Predator. I think this one,
I would
it
say
strays way more than the last.
You can obviously if you've seen Aliens even once, you can see the beats that they're stealing. But it feels less Aliens than Robowar feels like Predator. Definitely, yeah.
I don't know if that's maybe it's the setting, of course. Maybe jungle it's jungle and jungle. Predator to Robowar, where this is like, it's like quite clearly, like I said, a water treatment plant or a power station.
Yeah.
I mean, that control room, that probably gave me vibes of like maybe something like Blythe Power Station when we visited it in Plessy or something. They just had that feel about it.
What is it with like Alien? Like, this is technically, if you think about Alien 3, what is it with Alien 3 shooting in Blythe Power Station?
Always coming back to Blythe Power Station.
Always coming back to power stations? What's going on?
But what about the casual racism though? The
oh God,
Italian racism in an Italian movie. That was interesting.
Just both characters. You should just call him a wop, a greaseball, and all this, and he's just like, shut up.
Yeah, there's a bit where I think she's like nice to him or something, and he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, because
fuck yourself.
He saves her when they get like shot upon by that crazy guy, and she's like, "Hey, greaseball. Thanks. Fuck you."
I literally wrote me notes. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, fair play.
Because of all the racism. Yeah. Like, he's not going to bond with her at this point.
But yeah, fucking hell, like, just speaking of scenes like that, like, it's another very shouty movie.
Oh yeah.
Everyone like and screaming. I meant to look up, like, did Bruno Mattei have like hearing problems or something? So he was constantly like, speak up.
Yeah, louder, do it again, louder.
Because people just shout for absolutely no reason. It's almost like that like bad actor handbook of like, I don't know, make it more dramatic, so I'll just shout.
Yeah. You can't do terror, so you'll just shout at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Because the Greta, like, she's like super shouts at one point, and when it grabs her by the neck and stuff, she's like, "Wah!"
I did like that moment where it grabs her by the neck and then she pulls the tentacle around her neck a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what she was like. I get the impression she was like one of these people that's like, I can get it done, watch me, I'll take charge. But really, she just doesn't know what she's doing and makes everything look really bad.
It's a shame, though, because she's so effective in Demons, she's terrifying.
Yeah.
When she's, like, possessed with the giant fingernails and the giant teeth, she's like... It's like the whole... Because she's got, like, such an angular face and, like, big eyes. It's like the Grace Jones thing in Vamp again, like a perfect face for makeup.
Yeah.
When she looks absolutely terrifying in Demons, yeah. If you haven't seen Demons for a while, give it a watch, just for, like, she's fucking terrifying.
See her again. It's got to be better than her performance in this.
Oh, it's, yeah, of course. Yeah. Demons is a little mini masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, especially compared to this.
Yeah. But the Fuller character, I assume he got the role. Christopher Aarons.
Is that the blonde, like the Drake?
Yeah. Well, he's like the bad guy, the one that eventually turns into the robot.
Yeah.
Is it Fuller? I think it might be Fuller.
It's Samuel Fuller, because I was like, isn't that a director, Sam Fuller?
Yeah. I think he essentially just got the part because he like, if you squint and you're in a dark room, he vaguely looks like he could be Arnie. You know what I mean? Like, he's got that kind of like Austrian sort of face going on.
If you squint and spray hairspray in your eyes, he kind of looks like Arnie.
Because he's like a prime example of somebody that cannot fucking act at all. There's a great bit in the movie where he's got loads of like techno babble to read, and he's in front of a computer screen, and you can see he's reading from a piece of paper that's like lying on a keyboard or something, because his delivery is like, and then the DNA will be, and he's just reading it like through the lines. It's like, oh, bless him.
I like that whole, you can tell what's coming when he's just covering his wound on his arm. Mm-hmm. I'm like, just roll your sleeves down.
No, he can't show his guns off then, though.
True, I guess, yeah.
He's got to roll down his sleeves. But yeah, there's some liberties taken there.
I mean, I just want to get maybe the rest of my notes are just me highlights, and there's about 5 of them, so I kind of just want to get the highlights.
Let's go through them, yeah.
Okay. So 2 moments, both include people comically falling over railings.
Yes. Full back flips.
There's the Kowalski death.
Yeah.
When I said that bit with the tentacle around the neck, where like Kowalski just gets like a little smack in the chops and just goes flying over a rail, and obviously a dummy, and it fucking cracked us up. And the best part was when Fuller like is attacking Ripley at the end, and just gets like squirts hot steam in his face, which gets him over. And then you just hear him in the background going, "I'm indestructible," as he clutches his face and just fucking squirts him with a fire extinguisher, and then he just falls over a railing.
Yeah. Did you see his head come off as well? The dummy's head.
It was like something out of fucking like. It was that well put together comedically. It was like watching Naked Gun.
Yeah, it's like when Frank Drebin gets like a pillow in the face or something, and he's like, "No, it's a towel." He's in the bathroom, and I think the character throws a towel, and he's like, with a towel in his face. And then
combine that with like O.J. Simpson, like going over everything, falling over and going over the boat and stuff at the start. It reminded us exactly of that.
Yeah, no, it did. It's so funny. Like the fact that he's this indestructible robot, but foam fucks him up.
Yeah, it was just that if he hadn't have said, "I'm indestructible," before he just got absolutely battered by a fire extinguisher, it wouldn't be nearly as funny. And the bit where there's a big ambush, all the like creatures are attacking them. It's kind of like the Hive bit, I guess, in Alien. Yeah. And Ripley's fanning on with the door and she can't open it. And then at the end, he's just like, "It's the wrong button, man." That
was a really funny bit there, where it's like unintentionally funny because she's trying so hard to push the button.
Yeah, and shouting like this goes on for like 10 minutes of her just going, "The door won't open," and then at the end you say, "It's that one, man."
It's like, what the fuck?
And the final highlight was the character. There's essentially, I don't think he's called Drake, but like he's the Drake of this movie. Like him and Vasquez have a little high five thing. My favorite thing to do during the movie was just watching him during group shots where there's other people talking.
Or is he just like-
it's worth watching the movie again just to watch him. He just fucking shuts down like C-3PO.
Is he?
He never reacts to anybody's dialogue. It's like he's disassociating. He's just like,
he's probably going through his dialogue in his head.
He probably
like,
is, because as soon as like it's his line, he's like, his face lights up, and I'm like, Jesus, that's kind of eerie. It's like he's just wondering what he's going to have for his tea, just that blank expression on his face.
I'll have to watch some of it to clock it.
It's mainly the bit where they're all around the computer, and like the little girl comes along and goes, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it's that bit. Like the guy next to him's acting his arse off. He's like, what are you talking about with his face? He's probably overdoing it, and he's just like, whoa.
Yeah, again, a better filmmaker would have gone, we'll have to do that again. Like, you were spaced out during that scene.
Yeah, Bruno needed to be like, Blondie, fucking wake up.
But nah, they're just like, print it, it's good. For me, it's a lot of the lines that got me. Like, there's a bit where a character says, let's get out the KY so we can shaft him real good. And then another one puts on a camp voice and goes, shall we? That line.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
There's just multiple times where when people say stuff where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's interesting that they did the... it's kind of a highlight, but obviously for the wrong reasons, because they just ripped off another film. But they really faithfully redid Bishop, the Bishop scene, you know, when he's doing the facehugger autopsy.
Yeah.
So like redo that, like beat for beat.
Yeah.
Where like a character's coming in with some supplies, and it's the Fuller character in this instance, and he's doing like I can't remember. Is he just working on something they found?
It's just like a chunk of one of the creatures, I think, basically, instead of a facehugger.
And he does the same sort of thing. He's spaced out and he's acting a bit suspicious and stuff. And it's like, it's interesting that they went to that much effort. Like, did that scene very, very stick in somebody's head? Like, did they really like that bit?
I guess probably like the plan behind it was to like slyly rip something out, not slyly, but not like blatantly, like everyone's got the same fucking names and stuff, but then just recreate a scene just to remind people. Do you know what I mean? In a way.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like the android character's like another mix. He's Bishop. And he's also Burke, like the one, the double crossing shit who's kind of behind the whole, and a Terminator.
Yeah, because they go to the lengths, the degree of redoing the double cross scene where
with
Ripley,
the cameras.
Newt, so like the Sarah and Samantha character in this movie, they're in the lab, they're having a sleep, they're bonding together, they fall asleep, they wake up, and she's immediately like, oh, wake up, we're in danger. And they're trapped in the room, and the Fuller character turns the camera off. So they do it like beat for beat. They even have they redo the same scene where like our eyes come over the bed and she's looking for a gun, and then something jumps out, like the monster jumps out at them. Yeah. So it's like mad that they went to that degree. No APC though.
No.
Which is interesting.
Of course not. He's stupid.
I guess, but I just thought they would have maybe had a stab at it.
I would have, to be honest, I would have liked to have seen them have a stab at it.
Yeah, like they just rock up in like a van, basically. Like a 1989 like Ford, whatever, like sort of whatever the equivalent of a transit van was in 1989.
But seeing as though they never want to like ape lines, like stick around, don't move. Like, what would you have said instead of get away from her, you bitch?
Yeah, I guess they don't do that.
I was waiting for it. I was like, I hope they do a version of that. I want to hear what they came up with.
It was like, get your hands off her, you robot piece of trash or something. Something like
if it was him, yeah.
I suppose we should talk about the Newt character as well. Is she Samantha and she the little kid?
I think so.
Yeah, Samantha.
Yeah.
Too old? Probably too old.
Yeah,
right?
probably. Yeah, but it's probably like someone's niece or something.
Because she's all like gangly and like she's like at that awkward age.
She's just super intense. Like, she doesn't seem as like helpless as Newt.
No.
She looks like she could have a shotgun and probably take care of herself.
Yeah, it's funny enough. I noticed with her, whenever characters are speaking, she's like really like intensely staring at the mouths and stuff.
Yeah.
Like she's really like wired into the scene.
I mean, to be honest, I think I just like my ears just weren't tuning to what her accent was at first, because when she first appeared, I thought she was speaking with like an English accent.
Oh yeah, I thought so too.
And then when she's like trying to get her to sleep, she's like, "I don't want it to go to sleep," and I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, I reckon she probably went she probably learned English from somebody that was quite posh or well spoken.
Yeah.
Possibly, or something, or she's learned English from watching fucking, I don't know, the news or something.
Yeah.
Because she did have, you're right. When she first spoke, it was like proper like upper class sort of accent going on.
I thought they were just like having a sly like nod towards the actress that played Newt being English.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't actually think. I was like, that'd be kind of funny if it was. That
Yeah.
she sounded English now and then.
Yeah. I think they do the line, they mostly come at night, sort of. They do a facsimile.
I didn't notice it. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, they do. It's not that, but it's something like, oh no, that's what I'm thinking. I think she says at one point, like, oh, my mummy said there are no monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Or something. I think they redo that line a bit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I remember that bit, yeah.
Obviously, this movie, like, massively outstays its welcome. Probably more than Robowar.
Yeah, to be honest, I enjoyed Robowar a lot more.
Yeah, because like once they kill the aliens, the monsters, she kind of gets out of the power plant wherever the fuck they are, and then it just keeps going. The movie, and you're like, ugh.
Then they just introduced time travel in the last 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
And him just slowly walking around.
Well, this is the thing. Because I watched Robowar yesterday, I watched this today, I just developed a sixth sense for when a lot of walking was coming. I would just fast forward for like 2 minutes and not miss a fucking thing.
Yeah, I think for this one, Shock and Dark, I used the skip quite a lot.
You have to. You have to.
Because, there's just times they're just walking down dark little alleys with lots of pipes and steam going off, and it's like 4 or 5 times that happens.
There's one scene in particular where there was just a long shot of a corridor with them at the end of it, and they were walking towards the camera. And I'm like, I know for a fact they're going to get to the camera and walk this slow. So I just fast forwarded it and went, okay, someone's about to speak, and went back, and it's a full 2 minutes. In a movie, that's a long time of people just walking with no dialogue.
Not good.
No.
I did like, though, her plan to deal with, because, towards the end, he's revealed that he's a robot. Well, it's revealed that he's a robot. And he's coming at her, and her plan is basically just to get a bottle and bottle his face.
Yeah. Just from the streets.
She just goes very low tech, and that's what reveals his robot face.
But how did she kill him at the end? I didn't quite. Maybe I wasn't listening. But she's got some little device, and then just chucks it at him, and it blows him up.
Yeah, he just evaporates. Basically, yeah. I don't know. I was really fighting the urge to just stop the movie at that point, so I was just like, whatever, I don't care.
Just when I'm talking about the ending, you're just like, I totally. Yeah, I agree.
No, you're right though. I wrote down she chucks a remote at Fuller.
Yeah,
he disappears. Because
before she gets that remote in like the time travel thing, the video's like, please pick up your time travel transponder from the below the screen. I'm like, what is it? They don't tell you what it does though.
No.
Apparently it kills androids.
But time travels in Terminator, you got to get it in somehow.
I suppose, yeah.
Squeeze it in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they did some sort of market research and discovered that Terminator 2 would sell better than Alien 3 or something, and then we're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
All right, put some time travel at the end.
And just shoehorned it in.
Yeah. Oh, they got kicked out the power station. Like, fuck, we need an ending.
Yeah. Like, outstayed your welcome. You bloody ruining things, get out.
But as with Robowar, we didn't really go into it, but there's no new fan art, but we were looking at some worldwide posters for this.
Yeah, some interesting sort of interpretations.
And the best one is the one that has Charlie Sheen on it.
Yeah, for Terminator 2 / although I suppose as the poster says, I'm just looking at it on my screen, The Contaminator, the German title.
That's a pretty badass title, let's be honest.
Yeah, that works. But yeah, no Charlie Sheen in this.
No.
In this movie. I imagine there was a lot of disappointed Germans going to see this movie, waiting for Charlie Sheen to pop up at some point. But yeah, as we were saying, like the Japanese posters are always like quite interesting. Yeah,
I always think because you'd see them on like eBay now and then. It would always be like, I think all these films all did really well in Japan on video, and there'd always be Japanese VHSs of like stuff like this. A lot of like jungle movies or the cheap sci-fi movies they did. And all the boxes always make the movies look really good.
I could see them doing well. Certainly Robot. Robowar
Yeah.
would be like one, because that Japanese market's already tuned into like guys in kind of rubberized suits,
Yeah.
and, like Kamen Rider and Godzilla stuff and that. So it probably would play a lot better.
They'd watch it probably just with Japanese subtitles. They wouldn't be able to like pick out some of the shoddy acting and just enjoying the sci-fi element of it. Yeah.
And like I said, when we're talking about Robowar, like visually, it's actually quite good. The story's not there, but it's quite a visual feast in terms of location and costumes and all the guns as well. I mean, a shout out to whoever the armourer was for both these movies.
Yeah.
Like, they've obviously had access to a shit ton of like either prop firearms or possibly real firearms that they just had access to.
Yeah. Imagine there must have just been like one place that they all went to for the props. Because like I said, this era, there was so many like Rambo rip-offs and jungle movies shot in the Philippines. So whoever was like the armourer renting these guns out must have made fuckloads of money.
Yeah. Is it? It's Terminator 2 Shock and Dark, where everyone's got like not spaz shotguns, but they're kind of like that
combat shotguns, which I don't know, for a group of Marines isn't exactly the best kind of weapon.
No, not really. Yeah,
just not really good for long range combat or anything.
But they just look big, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's like all they could get their hands on for the movie.
And plus that moment in Aliens probably just stuck with them where Hicks has his pump action for close encounters. They were like, oh, that's a good scene. Everyone has shotguns.
Yeah. It's all we could get anyway, but it's good. Because shotguns.
Kind of weird though, isn't it? There's no real Hicks character.
No.
In Shock and Dark.
No. Yeah, it's interesting. Some of the things you think they would do, and they didn't do. Like, even like milk, like one of them gushing with milk when it's revealed they're a robot. Like, didn't do that. And I thought it's kind of something they could have done.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that,
Yeah. One thing, though, that Shock and Dark does have over Aliens is at least they did actually get a black lady, and it's not just Jeanette Goldstein wearing blackface. Like,
well, true. Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, I love Aliens, one of my favourite movies of all time. But, now and then I do pause to think, like, it is a bit weird that they just put some brown on her face and got her to act like she was Latino.
Yeah, it is kind of,
When she's like the least Latino person you could ever find. She's like totally white with ginger freckles and ginger
red hair. Yeah.
It's like, but it kind of works. It's one of them things where I think the movie's so good, it gets a free pass and nobody ever gets like bothered by that.
Yeah, true, yeah. That's one thing nobody really mentions, yeah. But as for the Blu-ray, once again, Severin put it out a few years ago. They did a whole run of these of like movies with alternate titles and stuff, and the initial limited release came with a slipcover with the Terminator 2 artwork.
Nice.
And it was, I don't know, they didn't advertise it on their website, but like if you knew the movie, you knew what it was. It was basically the Terminator 2 artwork, but it was pixelated for legal reasons. And it's got a couple interviews on it and trailers and stuff. Not as much as Robowar, but still,
Yeah. It's mad that both these films, like the versions that were watched, they're like really clean looking movies as well.
Yeah, I said Severin always do a good job with this stuff. Yeah.
Obviously, you'll be saddened to know that there are no action figures or video games based on these two movies.
That is a shocker.
Like, who wouldn't want a Robowar action figure?
I would love a Robowar game.
Yeah. And it's just got all the same audio though, like depressingly. So it's all like you're like,
I think we goddamn in the Philippines. And every time you shoot in the game, you just scream.
Yeah, it's just lots of shouting. People looking directly at the camera as well. That's like a theme. And obviously there's just a ton of walking as well. Yeah, like every other level, you're just walking. No enemies, you just walk. It's like that Death Stranding game, basically. You just walk everywhere. That game was just heavily inspired by the films of Bruno Mattei.
Champion Cinema.
So what did we say? Do you want to go back to some Jackie Chan next week?
Yes.
Because it's the boy's birthday coming up in early April, so we'll do a few chants. I don't know what yet. I said we're thinking that I'd have a couple, but I don't know. We'll have a talk. Yeah, we'll have a think. So some Chan next week. So until then, you can find us on the old social media on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod. and all that jazz. So until then, next week. But you know what we don't say anymore, and we're putting shows up. We never say see you next Wednesday anymore. I put the shows up every Wednesday.
Yeah, we probably should.
We've got too many fucking catchphrases now. We can't fit the old one in.
In the like theme of ripping people off very slightly. Yeah, we should be saying.
We said, yeah.
So yeah, see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, and until then, I'll see you doing the pit.
See you, Neeb.
Goodbye.